What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to a brand new video. Today we have the top 5 best weapons in Battlefield 2042. Battlefield 2042 recently got a update that changed up the meta from the game quite a bit. A lot of good weapons got nerfed and a lot of bad weapons got buffed, like the M60 or the M16. Both weapons were recently brought into the game from Portal into All Out Warfare. They were quite bad. They recently got a buff and they're quite good now. So the top 5 I think has changed quite a bit, and I wanted to let you guys know what I think is the top 5 best weapons in Battlefield 2042. Let me know in the comment section what your top 3 weapons is in Battlefield 2042. It's all gonna be a personal list. I think these are definitely my favorite ones that I use, but also the best in the game, the ones I'm about to list down to you guys. So it's a little bit of a personal opinion, but I also think it's a pretty accurate statement what the best weapons are in the game right now. So on number 5 we have the gun that recently has been buffed, the M60 from Battlefield 3 Portal. It was brought into All Out Warfare with the last update, and I think it's actually really amazing. It used to be the worst gun, and right now I definitely think it deserves a top 5 position out of all the weapons you can use in All Out Warfare right now. It recently got a buff to where it's a 3-shot kill pretty consistently up to like around 50 meters, and above that it becomes a 4-shot kill, but it's super consistent. The only down part with this gun is it just doesn't really work that well up close, but I think that's the way it's intended. But from mid-range you're not gonna lose a lot of gunfights, especially having 200 rounds into the LMG. I think makes it for a great gun. The gun can kind of do everything. It's good at mid-range, it's good at long range. You can do pretty good damage up close, you just need to be prepared. And also a down part of this gun is that it kind of requires a specific playstyle that you might like or you might not like. You gotta play a little bit more defensive with this weapon compared to other weapons like some SMGs. But I think it fits very well now into the LMG class, and it packs a great damage onto the enemy team. That's why I think it deserves a top 5 place. Also, for all the attachments that I'm listing down with all the weapons that I'm listing for you guys, there will be a link to the guide from those weapons for what attachments I use in the description. So if you're curious what I prefer using or what I recommend using, definitely be sure to check out the videos that are linked down in the description. On to number 4, and this has been a gun they added in Season 1. It got kind of a nerf, but I think it's still good. It's not used that much anymore, even though I think it definitely deserves to be in the top 5 still. And it's the BSVM. On the marksman class, most people use it as an automatic weapon though. But it's kind of a gun, again, with the right attachments, you can literally do everything with it. You can build this gun into it being a very good automatic assault rifle, or you can build it into a little bit of a longer range weapon for the marksman class. I think the BSV right now is like a consistent 3-shot kill, and because it has that built-in silencer, I think it's a very underrated weapon almost right now. It used to be overused a lot when Season 1 came out. I also think that has to do with the SFAR being a little bit better right now. So all the meta users are preferring the SFAR over the BSV, which is understandable. But I still think the BSV definitely deserves a solid number 4 spot into the top 5 best weapons into the game. On number 3, and this is probably the most surprising one out of the 5 that I'm listing down, it is the P90 on the SMG class. This gun has been in a lot of battlefields and in a lot of games in general. It was recently brought into Battlefield 2042 All Out Warfare. It was transferred from Portal to All Out Warfare in one of the most recent updates, and I think it's a really good gun. It's very underrated at the moment. I don't see too many players use it, but the reason I picked the P90 is because with the recent update, the K30 and the MP9 both got nerfed, which I would consider to be better before the nerf. Except right now is that the K30 and the MP9 definitely do a lot less damage for range and have a lot more spread. So they can be a little bit more inconsistent. And that's something I really hate about spread in this game, is that it can create some inconsistencies with weapons, especially when they already don't do as much damage from range. It makes sense though, because they're SMGs. But however, the P90 doesn't have as much spread as the K30 and the MP9 have. That's why I think the P90 might just be a little bit better than the K30 and the MP9. Up close, the K30 will probably still outgun the P90. But I think the P90 is just a little bit more all-rounded now. It is better for range, and up close it will still beam obviously. It has very good hip fire, especially when you use that laser sight. So that is why I picked the P90 as the number 3 best weapons in Battlefield 2042. Now on the number 2 spot is a gun that has actually been nerfed, but I still think it is one of the best weapons in the game. I tried it a bunch after the nerf and I still think it's almost too good in the game. It is the new advances that came with Season 2. The advances has like very minimal recoil. That's the only thing they really changed for the advances, is the recoil pattern. It should have a lot more recoil now than it used to. But I still think it's too little. I tried the gun out quite a bit, and I still think it beams, especially when I was using SMGs up close versus the advances. I was losing a lot of gunfights to it because the advances kills that quick up close. The only down part with the advances is that it takes a bit to pull on when you're going into those gunfights, like the running to shooting time can take quite a bit, so you gotta play sometimes a little bit defensive with it, but I still think it is the best LMG in the game and it deserves a solid number 2 spot. Also, with the right attachments and the silencer, it doesn't take away too much damage. It still deals a lot of damage across mid-range. You might struggle a little bit more with the recoil right now, but it's definitely still worth a number 2 spot in my opinion. And on number 1 we have the SFAR. This gun has not been nerfed or buffed in a while, and the gun is still beaming. This gun can literally do everything, almost the best out of all guns, especially on the assault rifle class. It has very minimal recoil, and the grenade launcher is actually super effective to use as well. That's why I think the SFAR is still the number 1 best gun in Battlefield 2042. The advances sometimes can be a little bit better with having 200 rounds instead of the 40 that the SFAR can hold. But in overall, in most situations, I think the SFAR is the most all-rounded weapon in the game. You can literally do anything, and those grenade launchers, if you use them effectively, can be super effective as well. It can pack a lot of damage and you can get a lot of kills with the SFAR. I think that's my top 5. To get a quick summary, on number 5 I have the M60, on number 4 the BSV, number 3 the P90, 2 the advances, and number 1 the SFAR. Let me know what you think of this top 5. Again, if you want to check out the attachments that I use for each weapon, check out all the links that are linked in the description, and that's where I have a guide for each of the weapons that I listed. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Hopefully it was useful. Consider subscribing if you haven't yet, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye.